Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is on 10 things I am not buying in 2024. As someone who has moved a lot in the last 6 years, I've learned to be really conscious of where and where not to invest my money. I've learned quite a lot about my finances because of this, and sticking to the things I'm not buying has actually saved me quite a lot of money over the years. I'm very excited to talk to you about this today, and I hope it also helps you to reflect on your spending habits. So the first thing I'm not purchasing in 2024 are spa treatments that I can do myself. And with that, for example, I mean cutting my own hair. I have quite long hair and it is pretty straightforward if you want to give yourself a little trim. I can do that at home. I don't have to go out and spend a lot of money for someone else to cut my hair. This, for example, also goes for nails. I invested in a little UV lamp and nail polish, so I don't have to go out and get my nails done all the time. This doesn't mean you can't go out and treat yourself to a facial or a new hair color, but I'm more talking about those little things that you can actually quite easily do at home. The second thing on my list are personal care products. And that sounds quite generic, and I do want to keep this quite generic because I'm talking about anything that has to do from makeup, skincare, shower products, anything for your personal care. And I specifically realized that last time I was moving, when I was clearing out my cupboards, and the amount of stuff I had in the back of my cupboards that I repurchased because I forgot I had them. And I just constantly went out and thought of trying new things and buying this and buying that. I really try to keep my bathroom more minimalistic. Just have the products in the bathroom that I'm actually using at the time and repurchasing when I really need them. Another thing I want to cut back on in 2024 are cocktails. And that point might sound weird, but as someone who doesn't really drink beer, I often struggle to find something to drink when I go out with friends. And I find cocktails are just very easy to drink, they're very tasty, but I want to cut them back for two reasons. Number one, health issues. There's a lot of sugar and unhealthy stuff in a cocktail, and in general, that is something I've already started last year. I do want to cut back on alcohol. I'm currently doing dry January, but I also want to cut back on cocktails because they are really pricey. I found when I lived in London, a cocktail could easily cost somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But not even in London, it's just everywhere. Cocktails are super expensive. And some alternatives, if you want to stick with wine, I normally go with a house wine. I always find that house wines are quite affordable but normally quite good. And if you don't want to drink any alcohol, I can definitely recommend kombucha if it is on the card. It is healthier and it is much cheaper. Number 4 on my list is investment furniture for your home. And I realized that the other day that so many people on Instagram, on TikTok show you their dream house with their dream furniture, and so many young people now think that they have to buy the perfect couch and the most expensive huge rug for the living room. And I just think that's absolutely wrong, especially if you are still quite young, you are in your 20s, early 30s, especially if you might want to move abroad for a year or two one day, or if you move flat or cities quite a lot, or even if you think of potentially one day I want to have a family, and then this beautiful $5,000 couch that I bought that is beige or cream is not ideal for having a child. Also, your style changes quite a lot over the years. I find that things I loved 5 years ago, I wouldn't purchase today anymore. So yeah, I don't think that you need to have your dream home and your dream furniture when you're 24 years old. You don't. You really don't. Try out, experiment, buy secondhand stuff, and then one day if you have settled down and you really know what your style is, I think that's where you can start to invest more into more expensive furniture. The next thing on my list that I will not buy in 2024 are little decor pieces. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not allowed to buy any decor pieces at all. I'm more talking about this knick-knack. Especially when I was a teenager, I bought those quite a lot. Those little candle holders, just little pieces that I would put everywhere in my room. And I found that it really cluttered up my room, and it just started to collect dust, and it's just so unnecessary money that I spent on it, that looking back now, I'm really annoyed about myself that I bought so many little decor pieces that, again, nowadays, I look at all of them, I still have them in a storage box, and I wouldn't use them because they are not my style anymore. So I really try to have a bit more of a minimalistic flat that is not cluttered with little bits and pieces everywhere. So another thing that I won't purchase in 2024 are single ingredients that I need for new recipes. So let me explain that to you. Sometimes when you try out new recipes, there are a few ingredients that you don't have at home. And I'm not talking about like main ingredients like fish or vegetables, but I'm more talking about spices or things that you don't use up with 1 or 2 dishes. So once we were cooking a dinner and there were 4 spices on the ingredients list that we didn't have at home, so we went out, we bought those spices, we used it for this one dish, and we never touched them again. And I just don't think it is necessary to always purchase everything on an ingredients list. If it says that you need mustard powder, which at the time was on the list, and we didn't have mustard powder, we could have just used normal mustard that we had at home. I think sometimes you can quite easily substitute things on ingredients lists or even just skip them. If it's just a tiny thing, it won't really make a huge difference. So that is definitely something I'm more conscious of about now, and I won't purchase in 2024. Number 7 on my list are travel souvenirs. And with that, I mean those tiny things that you have to buy and bring home to your family when you've been on a trip somewhere, like those fridge magnets, all of those little bits that realistically no one needs. I'd rather buy items that have a meaning or that are usable or consumable. So for example, when I went to Sydney, I bought myself this golden ring. Every time I'm wearing this ring right now, I'm thinking of our trip to Sydney. It is still in a way a souvenir for myself, but it's actually usable and not a waste of money. And if I'm bringing something back to my friends and family, I'm gonna bring back things that are, again, either usable or consumable. So for example, if you go to Portugal, instead of bringing your friends or family a fridge magnet that they're probably gonna throw away in a year, why don't you bring them back a bottle of port? If I feel that my home gets cluttered up really quickly, they probably feel the same way and might not even want to get all of those little bits and bobs that you bring back from a holiday. The next thing on my list are trending items. So that could be, for example, everyone at the moment is running around with a Stanley Cup, but just because it is trending doesn't mean you have to go out and buy it as well if you already have a perfectly fine water bottle at home. So I really try to not fall into the trap of buying things that I don't need just because they're trending. And with my wardrobe, for example, I really try to have more of a minimalistic capsule wardrobe. Definitely not there yet, but I'm aiming to get there. But if I find that there's a style that is trending at the moment and I do want to try it out, I try to buy it secondhand somewhere and then try it out and test it for maybe a month or 2, see how I feel in it, and if I really do like it, then I can incorporate it into my wardrobe. But if I don't like it, then I just got it secondhand and I can bring it back to the charity shop if I want. Number 9, takeaway coffees. And this seems to be a super obvious one, and I think quite a lot of people have this on the list, but that is something I do not want to purchase in 2024. I probably won't have a 100% success rate by the end of 2024, but I do try to be a little bit more prepared when I leave the house and just bring my own coffee in a reusable coffee cup. Firstly, I think it is a lot of unnecessary waste, and secondly, it does add up quite quickly if you go out and buy yourself a coffee and then they have a lovely pastry or croissant as well that you want to buy with it. And if you do that maybe once or twice a week, that adds up really quickly. And even if you're out and you want to have another coffee, quite a lot of coffee shops actually give you a discount if you bring your own mug or your own reusable coffee cup. And the last thing on my list are hobby supplies. And with that, I mean, when I'm trying out a new hobby, I'm kind of an all or nothing person. If I try something out, I want to have the full equipment. If I'm rock climbing once, I'm already thinking of buying the rock climbing shoes and buying all the rock climbing gear, and it's really not necessary. Even with my filming, for example, I bought an expensive camera, I bought an expensive microphone, I bought the lighting, where looking back probably wasn't necessary. And then most of the time I stop with that hobby after a month or 2, and all of the things I bought just end up in a corner and I'll never use it again. So those were my things that I'm not buying in 2024. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm also thinking of doing the opposite and film a video of 10 things I want to buy in 2024. Let me know if you're interested in that. I actually really enjoyed the process of filming this video and sitting down and really thinking of the things I don't want to buy and spend my money for. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, then please do so if you enjoy watching my videos. And otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!